Coming up to midday, we're well and truly into the wedding season at the moment. If you're planning your big day and feel slightly queasy when you pick up a bridal magazine at the thought of being very girly and traditional and doing it all just right, well, my next guest can help. Kat Williams from Reading is the founder of the blog, the website Rock and Roll Bride, which is all about unique and extraordinary weddings. Started planning this when she had her own wedding in April 2008. Since then, the site attracts 500,000 hits a month and is making around £80,000 a year. Find out more after the news, which is coming up next on BBC Radio Berkshire. Now, it's 10 past 12. We're well and truly, as I was just saying, we're into wedding season right now. I bet you got a wedding invite somewhere on your mantelpiece. You generally are this time of the year. If you're planning a wedding, if the thought for you of doing the traditional thing and that pressure, normally from your parents or your in-laws, to keep it really traditional, if that's just too much for you, why not try and do something completely different? Kat Williams from Reading is the founder of the blog Rock and Roll Bride, which is all about unique and extraordinary weddings, about doing it the way you want to do it, rather perhaps than the way that other people want you to do it. And since April 2008, the site has taken off, to put it mildly. 500,000 hits a month, making $80,000 a year, thereabouts. Here's Kat right now. Hello there, nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Congratulations, first of all, on this. Isn't that amazing when things take you by surprise in life? Because I bet you never expected this.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I just started it because, when we got married, me and my husband Gareth.
He's sitting behind you, but he's refusing to speak. He's nil by mouth.
Yeah, he's just here to hold my hand.
I got half an hour to get him speaking. We'll get him warmed up a bit, yeah.
I just started it when we got married because I really enjoyed planning my wedding. And then when we were married, I didn't want to give it up, so I started putting up pictures of people's weddings that I really liked, and then people found it and they seemed to like it too. So.
We should explain, this is all about alternative weddings, doing things a little bit different. We should just talk about your look. You got a great look.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm going to have to describe you because this is ready. You've got bright pink, long pink hair.
Yeah.
That's great.
I do get stared at in the town centre quite a lot.
Do you mind that? Is
Not
that the
really.
point of it?
It's generally a weird day if I don't get a little girl going, Mummy, that girl's got pink hair.
When and why did you dye your hair pink?
I dyed my hair pink when I was 16 to rebel against my parents.
And how old are you now? Can I ask?
27. So I still haven't really grown out of that. Yeah.
And you don't ever... What's your natural colour then?
Very dark brown.
Is it?
Yeah.
I can't imagine you with brown hair.
A lot of people think I might be blonde.
Really?
Because it's quite a light, bright pink. But
yeah. So you don't think you'll ever go back to...
I don't think I can now.
Really?
Because my pink head is all over my website. No one would
That's
recognise me if I didn't have pink hair.
And you've got flowers in your hair today.
Yeah.
What is that? That's a hair thing. I'm a boy,
It's
I
just
don't know.
a big flower crown.
A flower crown, perfect. I would never come up with that. And you have a wonderful arm of tattoos as well.
Indeed.
What have you got on there?
Well, it's not very deep, I'm afraid. It's just things I like. So it's cupcakes and bows and crowns and diamonds. And
There's a woman in the press today, I think it's in the Daily Mail, she's just got divorced. And she looks like she's in her 40s or something, and she's had her entire body tattooed.
Oh, really?
Like everything. There's nothing left.
So if we do get divorced, Gareth, beware.
Yeah. Beware.
We're covered.
She's obviously got some anger issues that need to have been resolved. Anyway, so let's go back. So what were you doing before you started the website?
I was working for a shopping channel as a producer.
Fun. Was that good fun?
It was good fun. It was hard work, actually. 3 hours on air is quite intense.
Yes, I've never presented shopping channels, but I think maybe someone you work with. We were just talking about.
Yeah.
And I remember looking around, and it is tough, isn't it? Behind the cameras.
I was the producer, so I wasn't in front of the camera, but I didn't know how they managed to talk straight for 3.5 hours.
How do they do that? Those presenters. How do they do that stuff?
Caffeine. Lots of cigarettes. I don't know. And a lot of them are just generally that kind of. Mad people, yeah.
Because after 10 minutes, I'd say, you don't want this. It's just a bit of old... It's
no one's buying it.
It's old tad, and it will fall apart.
No comment.
But were you under pressure to sell things as well? Did you have a target?
Yeah, we did have targets, yeah.
Wow.
So, but I was kind of... Because I was the producer, I was in charge of the gallery and the crew and everything, so I think that kind of made me quite... bossy and know what I want. So, when it comes to dealing with businessy stuff, I'm now all right with it.
Yeah.
I'm bossing Gareth around, of course.
And Gareth works for you, as you were just saying.
Yeah.
So you set up the blog mainly because you didn't want a traditional wedding?
Well, mainly because, actually, our wedding was quite traditional compared to the ones that I now feature, because it was 3.5 years ago. So I've learned a lot more now about weddings than I did then. So if we did it again, then it would be completely different, I'd imagine. But after the wedding, it was mainly, I wish I'd had the opportunity to learn about this photographer or
But
this
don't
station
all
designer.
brides say that? My wife still says
Yeah,
that.
I
She
think
still
so.
says she'd like to live the day again and do
Yeah,
a
I
different
think so.
thing. Girls love a wedding, don't they? They just...
Yeah, and some boys. I've got quite a few male readers, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Are men really that engaged? Because in my experience, certainly
Some
in
of
my
them.
wedding...
I mean, it's still definitely mainly girls. Like 95% of my readership's women, but
Because
Would you-
even if you are engaged, and I started off wanting to be, you get edged out.
you'll have to ask Gareth that one.
But I think you do. You are asked to give an opinion. What do you think of this? And you know, actually, I remember getting to the stage where I thought, whatever, I don't have an
Just
have an
for an
opinion on
easy life.
cakes. I don't have an opinion on the cake and how it's going to look. I didn't have an
Maybe
opinion.
the way it tastes.
Yeah, I'm not a big cake guy, so it was like, I don't know, it's a cake's a cake's a cake. I still can't even remember my wedding cake. Isn't that awful?
I don't think we ate any of our wedding cake, did we?
No,
I
you
didn't. I
don't
was
eat
way
any of
too
your
nervous.
any of your food at all. So let's talk. Gareth, you're miming here. We're going to get you on in a moment. We really will. You can't sit there mute for the whole hour. Tell me about your wedding then.
We got married at the Elvertham in Hartney Whitney.
Lovely.
Well, that was our reception. The ceremony was at Greyfriars, right in the centre of town. And it was kind of like a black and white, vintagey, breakfast at Tiffany's kind of theme. So it was all black and white, basically.
Very nice.
Classy.
Very classy.
Unlike now, with the pink hair.
And what else? Tell me about the music and the food and all that sort of stuff.
The food. I don't think I ate anything. I think I was too nervous.
No, I
It's some
didn't
sort
eat
of lemon
anything,
cake. I don't know.
Yeah.
The music, we made like a mix CD of our favourite songs to like when people arrived and things. My dress was long and white, but it had a black sash, so there was a little bit of quirk.
Very nice, but not as quirky as I would have thought.
No, a lot of people say that, which is why we need to renew our vows and do it again.
Yeah, which I want to come on about, because I saw on your website a lot of people doing these anniversary engagement photo shoot things.
Yeah, we did one actually. It was our 3-year anniversary in April, and we did one with a friend.
That's a
who's
nice
a wedding
idea.
photographer. Yeah.
Though I would just be thinking, God, we've put weight on. That's what I would. That's what I would be thinking. Oh, I look old. Terrible. All right, more for you in a second. Kat is the rock and roll bride. Nice to have you in here, Kat. Thank you for telling us all about the website that you run. Started off as a blog, the weblog, the diary of your wedding, and you've turned it into this site now, which is for people who I love your phrase. If you don't want a cookie cutter wedding.
Yeah.
Basically, you don't want the cut-out standard.
Yeah, your big day, the rock and roll Ray.
Yeah, and you should be able to do it the way you want to.
Yeah, exactly.
But so many brides and grooms, actually, you just end up following tradition,
Well,
don't you, to keep
yeah.
family happy. Particularly if your in-laws or your parents are paying.
Yeah.
You're under pressure to do a little bit of what they want as well.
And also, generally, when you get married, it's the first time you've done it, so you have no idea all the possibilities. You maybe buy a magazine or whatever, and you're just like, oh, I need to get a white dress, I need to get a big cake, I need to get a stately home, and you kind of think that's what's done. So,
But people are doing things a lot more differently now, aren't they?
yeah,
Really.
and I hope that people like sort of read my site and see, oh,
All the
maybe
options.
I could get married in a pub, or I could have a short dress or pink hair.
So what's the craziest stuff you've come across?
That's a really hard question, actually, because I
Well,
get
just
asked
give me
that
some
quite a lot.
examples.
The gothy ones are always quite a bit mental. Like,
Gothic weddings?
Yeah.
Such as? What sort of things?
just like, there was one I featured that was in a cemetery, and they're all dressed up like kind of zombie-ish. You know, so there is a lot of really extreme, but then
I think that's too much for me. Getting married in a cemetery dressed up as zombies.
but that's what they
Even
like.
the
That's
vicar.
what they do. Yeah. But then mainly the weddings I feature are just, you know, a bit, you know, full of personality and a bit quirky. So
Yeah.
slightly, you know, rockabilly themed or slightly 50s or
It's fun. The stuff, the things that are funny, and the internet is full of them, and you'll know this. When couples learn dance routines,
yeah.
which I find a little uneasy. I don't know why.
One of
I think
my,
it's a trying too hard thing.
One of my actually really good friends is a wedding photographer, and she did the first one. She did the
Did she?
Dirty Dancing one.
She
yeah.
did the dirty dancing routine.
It had some ridiculous amount of hits on YouTube.
Really?
And then she went on Oprah and danced with...
No, is that so?
Yeah.
Have you seen that film also of the couple? I think it's a Jewish wedding, and they literally there's about all of the guests do this set piece, which is like something from a West End musical, and everybody's in on it except the bride and groom, and they can't believe it. It's like a Stephen Sondheim set piece production. That's
yeah,
insane.
weddings can get big, eh?
Yeah, they can. And
Trying to do the next big thing.
that dance routine thing, I'm a bit uneasy with that. But your thing is mainly about the theming and the styling, isn't it?
Yeah, mainly. I mean, it's all kind of about the photography, what the wedding looked like afterwards. So it's mainly that and the way it looked. And
well, let's talk about how you turn this into a business then, because that's really interesting.
Okay.
So you start. At what point did you think this is really growing now?
I think I got to about maybe 1,000 visitors a day, and I started getting people emailing me, like photographers or other wedding suppliers, saying, "Oh, do you take advertisers? We'd like our business to reach the readers you've sort of accumulated." So I started charging a really low amount to advertise, and then...
And how did you come up with that amount? Did you just pluck it out of thin air, or did you do the research?
It was literally about £10 a month.
Really?
So, that's what, so it just kind of started really low, and then as it got more and more popular and the hits went up, the price went up. We also put Google ads on there to sort of see, which basically every time someone clicks, you get a couple of pence.
And you do make some good revenue from that, do you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very good. I think it's interesting for people who are thinking of starting their own businesses to hear how you've done this and that it is possible, because you read these stories, but you very rarely talk to people who are now able to make a living in the way that you are.
Yeah, I guess it's quite important to make sure that you've got a site that people want to read. Getting the readers is almost the hardest bit, getting the site popular before you start trying to think about making money from it. Because so many websites that start up and immediately they put adverts on there, but if there's no readers to click on the ads, then... what's the point?
So you're making the money purely from advertising, is that where it comes from?
I do a bit of writing for a few magazines as well, but mainly it's the advertising,
And so that's fantastic. So how many visitors do you have now to the site again?
It's about 500,000 hits, which is page views, and about 150,000 visitors.
A month? That's amazing. And where are they all coming from?
Primarily the States and the UK.
Really?
Also, the next biggest ones are Australia, Canada. They're the 4 biggest, but all over the world.
This is turning into a big business now, then.
I guess so. I think people often think there's more than just me, or more than just me and Gareth, should I say.
And you running this from where? A study at home or a spare room? Or?
My office is actually the little nook under the stairs in our living room, so it's really glamorous. I'm trying to persuade Gareth to swap so that I can have the spare room.
That's fantastic. How are you going to grow this?
I've got a few plans in the pipeline of things that I'm doing. This year I'm going to the States in 3 weeks for a couple of projects. I've been invited to a few wedding shows to go and exhibit. Talks I get invited to go and speak.
They would love you on the TV in America.
Yeah, I guess.
They would love you. And especially the idea of the rock and roll bride.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. You've got to go out there and get an agent.
Well, we'll see. We're going in 3 weeks, so we'll see what happens.
Very exciting. Where are you going to?
We're actually going to Omaha, right in the middle. First of all, I've been invited to go and do a fashion show with a designer she actually makes bouquets out of felt and buttons and stuff, but she's expanding into a dress line and she wants to make a rock and roll bride dress, so I'm going to go out and model for her on her catwalk show, and then we're going to go to LA for a week and have a little holiday, but also sort of do a bit of networking with people that I know online but haven't met in real life. So.
Very interesting. Okay, we'll talk more in just a second. Kat Williams, the rock and roll bride. Kat and Gareth are with me on BBC Radio Berkshire. Kat is the rock and roll bride, and Gareth, are you the rock and roll groom, or does that sound really...
that's kind of an unofficial title. Yeah, I do get called that a lot.
You weren't going to speak, but look, 30 minutes later, we got you up
let
again.
me have just one thing.
Well, I'm interested because you're a husband. You're about weddings, and this was born out of your wedding, and you are a husband and wife team. Yeah, which I think is really interesting that you've managed to create this business on your own at home, working from a nook under the stairs, earning really good money from it as well.
As Kat said earlier, though, I get the spacious room upstairs to work from.
Really?
So Kat's the one that's relegated to the nook, unfortunately.
So what do you do, Gareth? You run...
Well, my background is IT, so I basically help keep the sites running, do any structural changes to it, set up adverts when they sort of need changing or layout tweaks.
Yeah.
Check the stats, all the really boring stuff.
Do you enjoy working together? Because it's one thing
totally.
being married, but working together raises whole new tensions, doesn't it, and different issues.
Well, we people say that to us a lot, and we're like, well, I married him. I quite like hanging out with him, so it's not actually that weird to us, because with Gareth's old job, he worked from home anyway, and I was doing shift work, so we kind of spent a lot of time together anyway. But
I find it really bizarre that people spend sort of 8-10 hours every day away from each other with other people, and then sort of only get to spend time together at the weekend. So this is ideal for us. We is great. Really enjoy hanging out.
I find I work at home a lot. My wife works at home. I do find it the difficult thing is the remembering to get dressed. Do you find that? And that I can get up in the morning, start a bit of work, and then it can be lunchtime and I haven't got dressed yet.
Or normally about 4 o'clock, and I think, is it worth having a bath? Nah.
But as I just said to you, do you then find that when you put on real clothes, they feel really strange?
Yeah. It's like, we haven't been out for a week, we better go out for dinner.
I had a friend who ran a recording studio from home. He didn't go out for days on end. And when he put on trousers, he said he was walking like a penguin. He just felt really strange. Let's go back to talking about I mean, you're all about weddings. What wedding have you most enjoyed going to?
A couple of my best friends got married in March. She's actually a wedding photographer, that's how I know her, and it was her 30th birthday, and they didn't tell anybody that it was a wedding, so it was a surprise. So we all went there. I knew beforehand, which is a really bad idea because I'm really bad at keeping secrets, so thanks for that, Emma. It was really hard to keep it quiet. So everyone turned up thinking it was just a party. And then they disappeared halfway through the night and came back in their wedding outfit and got married in front of us. And it was amazing because no one was expecting it.
You didn't think it was good? Oh, that's fantastic.
It was really cool. They got married at the registry office earlier in the day, like just for their family, and then just had this big party afterwards. And then we went clubbing and had a curry at 5 a.m. So it was pretty...
That's nice.
It was really good fun.
And your advice to people would be just to do what you want to do, would it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was like they, love parties, love going out, love curries, I guess. So that's what they did.
That's what they did. Good for them. What about people who do come up against the pressure, though? Because that's the tough thing, isn't it? And that parental pressure is a big deal if you're not picking up the bill. Yeah.
I mean, there's always little ways of putting, little details in, even if maybe it's really important to your parents to get married in a church. That's... you can make your own stationery, you can get a slightly quirkier dress. I mean, things aren't going to offend people. A lot of sort of weddings, people are doing a lot of DIY, so they're making things themselves. That adds a bit of a personal touch. So.
What sort of things are they making?
Anything and everything.
Churches.
I've seen people that make, made their own dresses, made their own stationery, made their own centerpieces, Yeah. It just depends on how crafty they are, I guess.
Are people asking you for advice a lot of the time?
Yeah, a lot of the time.
And what sort of question? What are the most popular questions?
I started to get asked a lot recently about plus-size brides, like where to find dresses, because a lot of wedding dress shops are a bit scary, and you go in and they're like, "Well, this is the kind of dress you should wear." So they were like, "Oh," I got a few emails people saying, "Where can I find dresses that are flattering that can suit me if I'm over a size 16?" So I wrote a blog post, I think it was yesterday, with some suggestions, and it went down really well. So
okay, what other sort of questions?
What other sort of...
Because I imagine that brides are quite nervous. If you start thinking, I can do things a bit differently.
Yeah.
That originally, taking that first step, you're going to be a bit nervous, aren't you?
Yeah, I often get asked for recommendations, like, where can I find a cool photographer, or where can I find
Simple
a cool...
stuff,
yeah, and that's quite easy because I've got loads of friends in the industry now. So.
It helps, doesn't it, that the law changed that you can now get married anyway. That makes things a whole lot easier.
You can't.
Can't you?
Not in this country, no.
I thought you get married pretty much. Or you can apply for a license, can't you, to get married anyway?
I think so, but it has to have in this country it has to have a roof and foundations.
Right, yeah.
But they can apply for a license, but you can't go and just get married on a beach. You
no,
can
absolutely.
in Scotland, but you can't.
But at least in buildings, you don't have to just get married in a
hotels or
a place of worship anymore. That's what they change, and that helps. That's a big difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, I wish you luck with the site, and it's going to get huge. And the fact that it's just the two of you working at home at the moment, this could get very big, and you could end up having staff and all sorts. Would you want that to happen?
I think so, but I'm a bit of a control freak, as Gareth will probably tell you. I'm quite demanding.
Cheers.
You married a control freak?
Yeah, I had no choice in the matter.
What about rockandrolldivorce.com? End up like that lady got tattooed from head to toe. That's a rock and roll divorce, isn't it?
Is, yeah.
Rock and roll divorce is a big thing. People do crazy things when they get divorced.
The tattoos might lead to the divorce, actually. I'm not a fan.
It's lovely to see you both and to hear about your success, and I wish you all the best with this.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. My thank you to all our guests today, Kat and Gareth Williams. Everybody came in speaking about how Royal Berkshire has benefited from the royal wedding 3 months on, and to Gareth Jones for being here much earlier this morning, the internet psychologist Gareth Jones. Back tomorrow morning from 10 a.m.
BBC Radio Berkshire.
Travel you trust.
As it happens.
Here's Russell Holding now.
Well, the M4 thankfully looking pretty...